There we go. Okay. All right. You're very welcome to join me in the refuge that has meaning to me, or to say the one that you normally say if you have one that you like. Something done, recommended before all practices of any kind. So that, well, I won't say that I don't know what the full meaning would be or why, but it reminds us that there is a refuge. There is refuge. The ultimate refuge is the clear nature of our own mind. But there are many different aspects of refuge that we may enjoy. And it also reminds us that we're not here to get something just for ourselves. We're actually hoping that what we do together, or if you do your practice on your own, might be a benefit to some being somewhere. Or hopefully all beings, but not bad. Okay, with that said, and with no announcements to make, forward we go, with a wish for all beings to be free, free of the constriction and contraction caused by held belief systems and thought patterns, free of the automatic reactivity caused by learned and held emotional patterns, and free from the isolation and suffering caused by distorted perception. I will always go for refuge, to or as alive, vibrant, radiant, spacious awareness, until awareness is ongoing, like the flow of a river. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the presence of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, of any lineage or no lineage at all, and or any time or beyond time, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all beings. As long as, excuse me, as long as space remains, as long as beings remain, may I manifest in such a way to ease and dispel the miseries in the universe. Okay, I want to give anybody time to finish what they may choose to say. How do you feel about traditional today? As traditional as it might come out. Might be nice. Whoop, hi, kitty. I like when we have beings other than humans wandering in. And I've notice that when we're doing something like this, often animals will wander in. Maybe it has a nice vibe for them. So why do we do this? One, because it's fun. Maybe it reminds us of why we're on this path. Probably each of you would have a little different reason, or are pulled to practice this for a slightly different description you would make. Doesn't really matter. We're all here together. I think maybe we might start from the adaptation, whatever arises today, of what is considered a creation story of sorts. Every tradition has its own creation story. I'm not sure they're all so terribly different. And probably we will never know for sure how we all got here in this incredible universe of stars and beings. And it's possible that I may mix a few traditions, so we'll see what happens. I'm not sure we can say long, long ago, because now we can look into the stars that we perceive. And we're seeing light from I don't know how many million light years away or light years ago. Some of the stars we see are probably no longer in existence. And yet we see them quite clearly. If you are not a stargazer, it's a wonderful place to rest. At least for me, when my world feels very small and tight. In one tradition, at the same time the stars came into being, all life came into being. And we are all just a bit of starlight, if you will. Or in another tradition, a bit of stardust. Scientifically, we say somehow from an incredibly dense mass that exploded, the Big Bang. The entire universe formed and is forming. Nothing in form ever holds still. Form is movement. Now we could be poetic and say where nothing moves, but logically that doesn't really make a lot of sense to us. And yet, we can't find a single individual thing that we can say, oh, that's like the origin of everything. We keep trying, don't we? We found molecules, then we found atoms. Oh, then we find they're made up of stuff, which we called other names, electrons. Oh, I can't remember everything to go into science at the moment. Neutrons, protons, maybe. Nucleus. And then we looked at them and nope, they're not anything but a conglomeration of other things. Quarks, gluons. We keep looking and trying to find that original bit of matter that actually we can say exists as itself. And we can't find it. Heck, now we even have virtual particles, which seem to pop in and out from other universes. It's really fun to spend a little time. Probably you can Google it or AI it and ask the question, what is the original particle that started the universe, that's at the base of all form in the universe? That'd be a fun thing to ask AI, I suppose. And yet, we can't deny that there appears to be form. We don't want to make a story in our mind that there is no such limited solid thing in form and step in front of a bus with that idea. It will not go well for us or the bus driver. So if we imagine, if we choose, that there was slight movement, like a slight wind in space, just a light wind, could have been movement of any kind. Tibetan tradition, I believe, says that the original movement was sound, subtle vibration. However, we rest there in that unnameable, unknowable, but we try, spaciousness from which everything arises, made of no thing at all. Called Dharmakaya, nature of mind, heart mind, with this slight movement creating the energy, if you will, sound, light, because of this no thing in movement, compounding with other no things and creating a form of no thing. And if we are able to rest, not as a scientist looking at this, but recognizing, well, that must be this no thing also. This form that thinks it's very individual and independent. We are the no thing of the universe. And yet, what a magnificent display of creativity. From the stars to rainbows, from what appears more solid to us, dinosaurs, to mountains. And all we can perceive, truly, with our own eyes, is this little tiny bit of space, Earth, and the creativity and manifestation of Earth and the stars. And we humans, well, let's save that for a minute. We can rest into this, what gets called emptiness, empty of any thing that we can locate to say, ah, this is what it is. And yet, we try to put descriptive words, vast, beyond our imagination. And yet, we're told that is our heart mind, Dharmakaya, beyond time. Well, what can that mean in what we look out at? We're told we're very close to being able to see the original Big Bang, if there is such a thing. So how do you define time when by sitting and looking into the stars, you see things, light that is, in a way, beyond time? It can make you wonder what the heck time is. We can imagine that we are seeing hundreds of thousands, maybe, of light years distant, where what we're seeing may not even exist anymore. But in the moment of the seeing, how can we say it does not exist? So time is pretty tricky. And we can rest in the wonder and the mystery of that without having to grasp a specific answer. And as we rest there, we may actually be able to experience, but not explain. No up, no down, no right, no wrong, no good, no bad. What's called beyond duality. And we may experientially, if we rest there, notice that all duality is created in concept. Is this just human form that does this? So that it has something to hold on to, something to describe our universe to ourselves. And the original duality, called by Lama Lena the original oops, that there's me and everything out there. So we have the original duality created by that misconception, perspective that causes that isolation and suffering. Because we believe in my thoughts, my feelings, my perceptions, my sensations, as separate from what we perceive as the outer world. And we hold on to that outer world to be as we perceive it. What if we spent a little time every day perceiving the universe in its vastness? And resting as that vastness. Pardon the word, we're doing talking. But notice what I'm, or we together, are pointing at. And as this movement began to coalesce into clumps, perhaps of light, perhaps of these no-thing particles that we talk about, no-thing waves, and form appears to have started to differentiate. Just like in the creation, perhaps, of a baby that starts with a sperm and an egg uniting, and somehow grows and grows in these cells, these clumps that come together are differentiated into different parts of the human form from the very same original cells, whatever you want to call them, bits of non-solidified matter where we still can't identify any solid, independent, individual thing that isn't made of other things. We can rest into the possibility that everything in the universe that manifests as these clumps of no thing coming together when the conditions support them. To this day, I don't believe it's possible yet, you never know, to create life from no life. Could be wrong. So everything comes together perhaps in the same way. From the smallest being, manifestation, to the largest. And nothing, no thing in form is made of anything other than moving no things. Wow. And we are that. How could we not be? And we can rest in that. It is hard to separate out the great, I apologize for words, spaciousness, vast, timeless, beyond concept, beyond duality. Where everything arises. The very spark of life arises with that perhaps dance of slight movement, be it sound, be it energy. That's part of the mystery, isn't it? Dancing in that emptiness. Never separate from that emptiness. Although we may choose to let our attention rest in one aspect of heart-mind. Without the spaciousness beyond time, where would the spark of life arise? Without the spark of aliveness, where would manifestation arise from? And where would it arise if there was no spaciousness? The three kayas, always inseparable. And yet, we don't seem to notice that we are that unless we pay a great deal of attention and allow our awareness to rest there. We are the stars. We are made of the same no thing as every bit of form in the universe. Not like there's one whole universe and we each are a little part of it. We each got a little part of it. Not like that. Can't be like that. Every bit of life is the whole of the universe. We may react to this in different ways. When we're just resting together, there can be a sense of mystery and beauty beyond anything that goes into words. Wow. We can have experiences, moments where the idea of, nope, sorry, mistake, where we experience a glimpse or a taste or an actual experience of time as a concept. So we're experiencing all of time in this moment. Whoa. as part of that, as that. Many experiences may arise when we rest in what we don't know, but do experience. We may have moments of great compassion, not pity, the compassion of interconnectedness, realizing we are all made of the same no thing. Well, if your hand was bothering you and had some pain in it, or it was annoying you for some reason, you wouldn't get an axe and chop it off, would you? If we experience moments of being the entire universe from which all manifestation arises, it would never occur to us, something quoted from the Dalai Lama, to harm anything as it's a part of us. Just because we didn't like it in that moment. It isn't that we need to deny the manifestation that we experience as our body, our self, if you will, and decide that nothing exists. Hello. That can be pretty silly. But we aren't only our body. And we might start to have a glimpse or an experience of feeling our body as the vehicle. Oh, it's called lots of things. The temple, doesn't matter what you call. This body allows us to have sight, hear sound, taste, smell. It gives us the capacity to walk around. Perhaps not everyone. Not everyone has sight. All bodies are not the same. We can imagine ourselves trapped in that body, that is us. And we can start to be quite mean to that body, complain about it. Oh, for gosh sakes. And yet, if you want to take a little bit of time to recognize everything your body does on its own, not from your volition, you don't think about your heart beating and make it beat every moment. That's an outrageous number of heartbeats in someone as old as me. That heart has been ticking away, circulating blood, taking oxygen to the cells that need it picking up what it doesn't need, getting rid of it. The human body is, any body that's alive is pretty much an amazing container, not separate from, beyond the stars, beyond the beyond. Wow, pretty amazing. But not limited. We are not limited to the body. Now we could imagine being a wave in the ocean, out in the middle of the ocean, with no reference point, such as perhaps land would appear as a reference point, way out in the middle of the ocean beyond any sight of anything. Land. Lots of things can arise with that too. And imagine a wave, one little wave in that vast ocean that somehow had the ability to decide it was an individual wave. And it tried so very hard to hold its form. And yet there's no possibility it could do that, because it's not an independent thing. It is shaped and created by everything around it. And think, if you notice that, is if you were feeling to be an individual wave, or somehow you were part of the movement of waves and never had that silly thought that you were independent. Imagine your heart opening. Oh my gosh, that poor little wave must feel so lonely so much of the time, trying to hold its form, trying to be something. Well, we do it all the time. Every one of us. It's not bad. Survival is a strong instinct. I suspect that a wave does not arise with a survival instinct. But if it did, it would miss, as Thich Nhat Hanh says, enlightenment for a wave is recognizing it is water. But it doesn't have to deny that it's a wave form, moving with other forms, none existing independently. Isn't that a wonderful thing to rest in? Well, until for us humans, we go, whoa, okay, that's all really nice, but wait a minute, what about me? And there comes our suffering. Our bodies change all the time. You've noticed this. Take out a picture of you as a baby if you happen to have one. Can you say you're that picture, that baby? And yet, can you say you're not? There you go. One of the original paradoxes. Change, impermanence. And yes, our body will, at some point, not have the conditions to hold its form in any way, to keep that wave moving. And the body will disperse into its natural elements. the no thing that all form is made of. What dies? Consciousness? How can something that is the spark of life become nothing? Interesting place to rest. Just to rest, not to intellectually grab at an answer. Just to rest in the possibility that while most of us cannot remember, well, maybe we can't even remember being the waveform of the new baby, that over time has become the you of this moment. Most of us have no memory of anything before a certain kind of intellectual consciousness arose. I don't know if that's the right word. So that we could describe things to ourselves. Oh, things are like this. But that doesn't mean that there was nothing. Void, zilch. How could it be? Some of us want to believe in reincarnation, whatever that may mean to you, as a way of holding on to ourself. Oh, myself doesn't die. Myself doesn't cease to exist. Ouch. Our self in this lifetime has changed so much. You don't probably have all the same thoughts, feelings, sensations, and perceptions as you had when you were 5. It is both terrifying and grand to rest into a waveform, never separate from where it arose, made of nothing other than where it arose from. That's what we can call meditation, is simply to rest in what may arise as we open to the wonder of the universe, of mind. Heart mind, I say, hopefully almost every time. For a universe without heart, however you want to try to define that, which is impossible, is a universe of Darth Vader, I think, of no life. Oh, perhaps our manifestation gets a little bit sticky in the open-heartedness. And we can start to smile at that too. Can we accept the suffering in our universe, in our world, in what we perceive, our experience of this world? Definitely limited, right, by our thoughts, feelings, perceptions. Can we open to that experience without holding it tightly, solidly, to be real and true, but without denying it or blaming or accusing, because it's too much, too overwhelming for us when we open our experience to everything. Sometimes the waves are fierce, big, crashing into things. Sometimes the waves are smooth and calm. Most of us would like them to be smooth and calm in the way we want. Well, trying to make that happen all the time is also our suffering. Trying to get rid of any pain can be our suffering. There's a wonderful story of this calmness of the waves described by a kayaker. And when you're kayaking across a very nice, smooth section of river or a very calm lake, this silly you, the I that we think we are, will think, oh, I am in control of the kayak and the conditions around me. It just feels like it for a moment. But if you take that kayak as it goes into the rapids and you don't become the kayak, the kayaker, and the rapids, it is probably not going to go very well. If you try to control every movement in that rapid without recognizing that you are now a part of that, it's probably going to be a bit of a nightmare. This is so true of so much of our life when we can rest there. Sailboat in the ocean. If you end up trying to fight the rapids or fight the ocean so you can survive, there won't be that glorious moment of realizing you're all three things together. Sound familiar? I can say that none of us has ever been born or died. Body, form, yes, always changing. And I can say, no being has ever left home from where it came from. But if we experience that, have moments of that experience, however the words are, it doesn't matter what the words are. It is then I'd have to say more words. Connectedness. If we fully experience that, we would experience life in a very different way. So what do? We let go again and again and again. Into the flow of the rapids, as well as enjoying the calm of the smooth river. There's so many things that arise. For instance, that river that we're talking about. Not one drop of that river that we're looking at, calling, oh, hi, river. Looking right at it, calling it a river. Not one drop of that thing we're calling a river remains in that river, in any place in that river for more than a second. So what makes it a river? Guess I'm into waves and waveforms today. Just movement. Well, that was utterly untraditional. Do you think it's possible meditation is as simple as resting into the mysteries that arise and allowing the experiences that arise without all the normal clatter and chatter and noise, and whether we call it our internal blab blab description or we call it all the noise of the outside, what we perceive as outside? It's just a wondrous experiment of experience without conclusion or ending. Nothing to get, nothing to hold on to. It's a term, waking up to this moment. Nothing to deny. You could sit in a cave, isolated, but you don't need to do that, unless you want to. or you can jump in. We can learn how to stop fighting. Ourselves. I think that's probably enough words. Thank you for being here and allowing this to arise. May every being, in their own way, in their own time, find the opportunities to notice they aren't isolated beings of suffering. We are all simply a wave of aliveness, manifesting in each moment. Bodies may come and go. Perhaps we can be grateful for the time we have this body, even when it doesn't do what we want. Remembering that the essence of who inhabits this body, what inhabits this body, never dies. May all beings have such opportunities to recognize the connectedness of all life within all time. May all beings be free. Thank you all. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Layla, for translating. Till next time, I see you.